Hey guys, Ponce here on the PBE, here to talk to you guys about a potential Jinx nerf, specifically her ult. As you can see, as I normally do, it's on the actual numbers are on Notepad up here somewhere. I copied pasted this directly actually out of a thread on the official forums where a Riot employee discusses the whole Jinx nerf thing. So I encourage you guys to check that out if you're interested in Jinx, because there's a lot of interesting info in there. So again, description below, just click the thing. That's where I got these numbers. Now let's just look over what it means here. So basically, it's not the ult isn't worse all the time. The ult is now worse at very short ranges. At point blank range, it deals basically garbage for damage, as noted here, and it slowly gets over time. So a number is given for the minigun range. So when you're auto attacking with a minigun, the max distance that would entail. That's the damage there. And at rocket range, obviously rockets have a longer range, so they start doing a little bit more. And then this is the part I don't quite get here. The Riot employee says shock pistol. Now the person who posted this is apparently the designer or one of the designers of Jinx or something. So I'm going to guess shock pistol is probably like the old name for Zap, and so they just use the old name out of habit or something. But Zap is, like, as you can see, really long range. So it would make sense that after like that much range, the rocket's going to be dealing that much damage. So now there you have it. So again, if you're interested in Jinx and sort of want to see the reasoning behind these nerfs, I highly encourage you to check the description below for the thread. Just to kind of go over quickly though what was in there, because there was a bunch of interesting things. I found this thread quite interesting. It's sort of neat to see like a designer's perspective, the person who actually made Jinx, their perspective on things. But he sort of, or he or she, was talking about how basically Jinx was, she's like so good at like long ranges and has like CC to keep people out, that when someone actually manages to get to her through gap closing or clever positioning or Jinx not paying attention or something like that, that's supposed to be her counterplay. And the fact that she could just launch super mega death rocket at point blank range and blow people up seems like it almost made it seem like she was encroaching on Graves' territory, because that's sort of Graves' bag. I mean, you obviously don't want to be at point blank range all the time, but Graves does have that option. When you're right up to him, he does crazy amounts of damage. And Jinx was sort of doing that too with her Mega Death Rocket, and it basically, not negated, but was sort of nullifying the ideal counterplay for her. Now, there's a whole bunch of other interesting points about Jinx balance in that thread itself, talking about how, like, Jinx, how her kit works basically almost makes her ideal for solo queue, because A, she snowballs well, and she works really well in just sort of clusterfuck team fights where just people group up and mash into each other. And then so she's got AoE, she stays out of the fight at long range, AoEs people down, and then her whole passive thing starts going off, so she can chase people down. And when it's a slaughter one way or the other, she with her passive, she starts running towards things faster and gets objectives and that kind of thing. So it's interesting. Another actually interesting point, last point, I promise, and then the video is done. But, no, that's not true. I have one other thing to say. Yeah, Jinx apparently has like a really, really dedicated core following, or rather like people who really like to specialize in Jinx. So you're apparently more likely when you're seeing a Jinx in solo queue. Jinx is distracting me with her weird comments. Anyway, so when you see a Jinx in solo queue, apparently she's more likely to be played by a Jinx specialist. Like, people just really, really, who play Jinx, really specialize in Jinx compared to most other champions. It kind of like how, for example, when I'm playing Sirius, I mainly play Jarvan. Right? I mentioned this before. So I'm going to know a lot more about Jarvan because I spend so much time playing Jarvan. And so these Jinx players play Jinx a lot, and they know a lot about Jinx, which is an interesting balancing point. Like, I don't know really how you factor that into balancing champions, but it's a thing I guess you got to consider when you're a Riot employee. Well, other than that, I should probably mention the whole execute mechanic, where you deal like physical damage based on the target's missing health. That's unchanged. So I mean, even at point blank, it'll still function as an execute in terms of the percent damage. But yeah, I guess they ideally want you to be landing, this rocket at long range, which makes a lot of sense to me.
Oh, part of the plan I just made up.
Whenever you see this ult used, you really appreciate the long range. Oh, you sniped someone all the way over here kind of thing, and it does stupid amounts of damage. When someone just blows someone at point blank range of the rocket, it's always just kind of, it feels like a letdown. It's like, ugh, that was kind of lame. So anyway, that's actually it. Thanks for watching, guys. And again, if you play Jinx or you're interested in sort of reading the Jinx developers' point of view on this stuff, there's the thread, or in the description below there's a link to the actual Riot thread. So yeah, enough of my rambling. I'll see you guys around.